Nate, your brothers from America are out drinking. We wish you were here with us, you and Russ.
Our heroes, the Aussie and the Pom, turn up at the Nerd Podcast Mafia headquarters to prove their worth to become the 10th member of the Mafia. We're still awaiting our initiation, guys. We've not heard anything. Out of the corner of their eye, they spot their arch nemesis, Wesley Snipes, draped over what can only be described as a solid gold throne. As he spits out his cigar, he sniggers, "You ain't worth it, boys." The Pom looks to his left at the Aussie, says, "I got this." "I know what you're thinking. Did they record 22 shows or only 21? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this podcasting, I kind of lost track myself. But being that this is a 44 Magnum podcast, the most powerful podcast in the world, and would blow your head clean off with that sweet orgasm, well, Wesley, you've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?" Welcome back to another episode of the Aussie and the Pom Show. How are you, Nate?
Yes, I'm very good. I am looking forward to this episode of the PomCast, as it's been at least half a week since I've talked to you.
It has been half a week. We were meant to record about 2 days after our last one, but I had a very drunken night out, and I think about 4 in the morning, I think I messaged you to say, "Yeah, I'm not recording in 4 hours' time."
Yeah, well, why don't we back it up a bit? Once I heard that you were going out, I said, "How about we just change it to a Wednesday?" And you said, No, I've got this, it's alright, it'll be funny because I'll probably still be a little bit drunk." And then I started getting video chat calls from you, and your first name twin was blowing me kisses for some weird unknown reason. Just freaked me out a little bit. And then I saw him on Twitter kissing your ear, even freaked me out a little bit more. Met your friends, I might add. I said there's no way he's recording in like 4 or 5 hours. So, but no, Russ goes, no, I'll be right. And then about 4 o'clock in the morning your time, it goes, nah, not gonna happen. How about we do it Wednesday?
Yeah. I was enjoying myself too much. Good night though.
Yeah, watched the boxing, didn't you?
I did. I had an action-packed Saturday, which I'll talk you through in a second. So I had my zombie experience, but then boxing. So my boy AJ on the night time. So we went round to Gav's house, the bearded man, and we bought it. So it was like £4 each or something. I think it was. Classic Domino's pizza, some beers, some vodka, and then we decided to hit it out into B Grove Town, which we've not been out for literally about 7 years in Bromsgrove because it's that bad. Guess what the name of the place is that we ended up? Can you remember? I think I told you.
I want to think it's got something. Was it like 57 monkeys or 27?
Yeah,
was it 57?
That's it. Yeah. That's how you can tell it's a classy place. That place used to be called Love to Love, Nate. It's now called 57 Monkeys. All they did different was change the lighting inside, and I can tell I'm getting old because as I was going around the club, I just kept going, those lights would look nice in my house, because they were all like the industrial sort of theme, which is what my house is. And so I can tell I'm getting very, very old. But it was a very, very good evening. So yeah, we've had to record a few days later this time. But hey, we're back. How did you feel about my intro?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I always enjoy your intros.
So I'll be honest, it's been toned down a little bit because I do have a builder in my house, and I don't want him to think I am actually mental. The one I was going to be doing, I'll be doing on next week's show, and you'll probably see why.
Okay, I'll look forward to that one.
But hey, let's give a rundown to the show because we've got an action-packed one as always. So we're going to have a catch-up. Now I've got a couple of things to talk about that's happened in my week, which is very exciting. Unfortunately, though, today, guys, there is no Afghani Dave. What's he busy doing, Nate?
He's had some car trouble. So, not his car, actually. His partner's wife's car has broken down along the highway. So his
partner's wife's car?
No, I was going to say partner, but I actually meant wife because he's actually married. He's been married for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so her car broke down and he has to go and tow it back to their place or the garage or something to fix it. So he is indisposed tonight. But he would have been available Sunday when we were going to, but Russell got too drunk.
I'm taking that as code for he's filming a porno.
The last person you would want to see in a porno is Afghani Dave.
No, he's become very mainstream since the publicity from our show, so I know he's very popular amongst our listeners. He's our old Afghani Dave, and I think there's been a plea for him to join the pornography world. So watch this space for Afghani Dave strikes back.
Just thinking about his popularity, it makes me a little bit sick.
That's brotherly love for you.
I know that Not a Nerdy Podcast, they got Mr. 110% on their podcast, and we pretty much have got Mr. 13% on our podcast.
And that's on a good day. If he gives us 13%, so half the time he doesn't turn up, right? And then when he does turn up, his journalism is not even great. I do have a story about this, actually. I just remembered it. Mrs. Pom was listening the other day, so we were listening to our last episode, the quiz one, and Afghani Dave came on to do the news, and she was like, "Does Nate make Dave do this?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Because he just sounds so bored and like he hates it and he doesn't want to be there." She was like, "Does Nate ring him and go, you have to be on the show?" And I was like, "No, Dave wanted, this was his idea." So, Dave, a bit of feedback for you. You need to put some energy into the entertainment news. Not only do we need hard-hitting journalism, we need a bit of excitement from you.
Yeah. Look, us Applebee's aren't known for our enthusiasm at the best of times. But yeah, no, he does what he does. It gets the ball rolling on some conversations. But the thing that gets me is like people have been like tweeting him going, "Oh, we missed you on the pod. I wish you were there." Or it's like, what? Who are these people?
I think he actually has about 5 different Twitter accounts himself, and he'll just tweet himself and just go, "Look, boys, look how popular I am." You gotta love Dave. I think that's his new nickname, Afghani Dave, Mr. 13%.
Yeah, it's like everything we do on our podcast, we steal it off others.
Exactly, correct. Yeah. Nate, what's our top 5 for this week?
Top 5 is an easy one for my number 1. It's top 5 most annoying characters.
Well, I said to you pre-recording, if we don't have the same number 1, this could be the end of the podcast. I'll be honest. I'll be very disappointed if you don't have the same number as me.
There won't be a podcast next week because I guarantee you don't have my number 1.
Oh, really?
Your number 1 might be at my number 2, but there's no possible way that you have got my number 1.
Well, guys, welcome to the last edition of the Aussie and the Pom Show. We got to 23 episodes, I think, Nate.
Yeah, 23. Don't worry about the nerd podcast mafia or whatever. Don't need to worry about that anymore.
No, we do. So let's hit up with the Nerd Podcast Mafia. So we've been chatting to our boy Tom, and he's been giving us some advice. Apparently, it's a group vote, so all the families get together. I can imagine it being like The Godfather, and literally the families come round the table, and they have a vote. I've still not had any interaction. We're 4 days into our last episode, and I've tweeted them. Yeah, I've put it out there, and I'm getting no response from the Nerd Podcast Mafia. I think it's tougher to get in this mafia than getting a response from Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, which we have found it is impossible.
Yes. Nate, with Wesley, I threw in an extra tweet the other day. I went on my newsfeed and he'd literally tweeted something, so it meant he was online. So I went straight in there and I just thought of the first thing I could. I'd tweet him straight away. Still nothing.
He can't have that many followers, can he?
145,000, I think he has. So it's a fair few.
Yeah. So we're running at about, 1% of that or something? No, probably more.
Yeah, well, Nerd Podcast Mafia, come on, come at us with some initiations. We want to get into this mafia. We will happily play as many promos as you want. So if you've got a promo, send it over to @Aussie_the_Palm on Twitter. Nate, can they find us anywhere else on Facebook or anything?
They can find us on Facebook. Just look up Aussie and the Pom and you will see us there. You will also see us on SoundCloud and iTunes. and YouTube now as well. We put our podcast up on YouTube, which we've just started doing. Make sure you press the subscribe button on at least one of those things, please.
Yes, we like to get more fans. And then interact with us. We like a lot of engagement. We get a lot on Twitter, which is nice. I do have some good chats with people on Twitter. I've been having some good ones with the Ready Steady Cut podcast recently, Nate. So yeah, there's some good banter. They have a good show. I was listening to. They did a full-on quiz for their show a couple of weeks back, which I listened to, and I very much enjoyed that. It was quite funny. And then they're a good podcast. So yeah, we like the interaction as well. So come on, join us on the interaction.
Anybody that writes something on our SoundCloud when the podcast is out, because you can comment on the podcast, we will 100% mention you in the next podcast.
Yes. So Jeremy Wolf, you're like our biggest fan because you do it on most episodes. I even spoke to you about it the other day, didn't I, Nate? I was like, Jeremy Wolf, who's this guy? And he told me, and I was like, yeah, good. He always comments and stuff like that. So that's what we like. We like the interaction.
The more you interact, the bigger our heads get, and the better the podcast sounds.
Exactly. Because that's what we need. We need more arrogance.
Yes.
Right, well, look, let's crack on with the show. Nate, how was your week last week?
Disappointing, Russell. Disappointing.
Yeah, there was quite a big silence there. I thought you were just going to silence it out until I came back in, just to sum up your week.
No, well, as I mentioned on the last podcast, we have a new flat and we were meant to move in on Monday.
Yeah.
They emailed us, the moving company, because our stuff's coming from Victoria, and they said, nah, don't like that idea. We'll bring it on Thursday. And we're like, what now? No.
Any particular reason?
No, none given.
Oh, fair.
Originally, when we booked it, they said anywhere between 7 and 14 days. But they said we're like 90% sure that we'll get there on the Monday. And so they're just using that loophole that up to 14 days. They said, nah, sucker, Thursday.
Yeah, chokers.
So
you're still at home with Mum?
Yes.
How is Mother Ozzy?
No, she's good. She's looking forward to us leaving. We're looking forward to leaving. Both parties are happy to be going their separate ways for a little while. But look, it's been ever so grateful that she's put up with us for 3 months, but it is time to move on. But yeah, so it's been a bit of a disappointment. And I've also been sick earlier on in the week, so I've missed a couple of days' work. And yeah, so really... Oh, good news is though, we found a childcare for Mac, and she went today, so I had a whole day to myself.
Nice.
I love my daughter, but my God, just you need some time apart from time to time. It was no, Russell. It was the first day that I have not watched either Moana, The Lion King, Frozen, or Cinderella. It's been a good day.
I can't remember the last day that I didn't watch one of those films, apart from Moana.
I didn't like Moana, but yeah.
Yeah,
so it's been a very good day in that aspect. And we called up the moving company, and our stuff is definitely turning up tomorrow at 9:30. So I'll be busy.
Big move then.
Yeah, very happy, very excited. Anyway,
good.
Like always, I talk about kids and moving and living at my mum's. What have you been up to, Russell? Anything exciting?
Yeah, well, I fucked a hell of a lot of shit up on Saturday, let me tell you this. So, the first thing I'll talk to you about is my zombie experience. So if you check out our Facebook, so go on Ozzy and the Pom on Facebook, you'll see all the pictures I put up. It was one of the best days of my life. So Mrs. Pom got me a lovely present for Christmas for a zombie boot camp experience. So I did it with my FNT, Russ. That's first name twin, Russ McCann. And he came up and he bought himself a ticket. And the idea was... So we'd read some reviews on it beforehand and they were like, it gets very physical. The idea was basically you get trained by some ex-military guys on a couple of like rioting and all that sort of stuff. And then you have a couple of missions. And they said, yeah, it gets physical. And the reviews are, yeah, you'll have a couple of like bumps and bruises and stuff. Jesus. They do not do it justice. So let me break it down for you. So we started on the day, and it's all run by ex-military people. So they do this as kind of like a part-time job on the weekends. And they do 2 a day, as was the afternoon session. And you start, and they're in character straight away. and they talk to you like shit. So their language is horrific. They talk to you about if you don't put in 100% effort, you might as well just crawl back into your mother's womb. Was one of the things they said. But yeah, their language is horrific throughout. But they're really good guys, and they just they get you involved in the experience. So the first thing is you have your briefing, and then you go and get trained on how to do riot police. Well, it's more like army police. So if the military came down, so you get like your shield, you get a baton, and then they teach you as a group how to do formations, which was really cool, and like the chants and stuff, like the commands. Sorry, not chants. So you would form, and then they would how you advance as a line together and stuff, which was really cool. How you would withdraw together, which was really cool. How you'd break and stuff. So that was really fun. Then the second part of the training is they teach you with paintball guns on how to clear a room properly.
Okay.
So you break into groups of 6. So there's me and Russ and then 4 other people from this group. And they teach you of the first 2 going first, how to clear the room properly, and then the commands you'd use, then the next 2 go in, then the next 2 from that go into the following room, and then the first 2 then go through to the following room, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like proper military. It was really, really interesting, to be fair, so I learnt loads. And then the second half of the day is you go and do the missions. So again, they brief and they said, look, don't punch anyone, because the idea is people would be dressed as actors as zombies, and you'd have to. The first one was you were in like this military compound, and you had 4 waves of attacks basically. So you'd come and there would be like 2 zombies to begin with, and then it would reset, and then say like 3 zombies had come, and then 4, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And so we got picked up in this, what can only be described as a paedophile's heaven, in a transit van with no windows and literally like a wooden plank in the back to sit on. It was hotter than the sun. So I'm there in full-on riot gear. So like I've got my overalls on, I've got a body armour on, I've got knee and elbow pads and a full-on riot helmet. I was so hot, it was horrific. Then you get out and you see the compound is brilliant, like how they've done it, and then the zombies come. Oh my god. They beat the shit out of you. Like, me and Russ, people think we're exaggerating. The first 30 seconds came, this guy, and you can see from the pictures, this massive guy literally choke slammed me onto gravel. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, Nate. Picked me up and slammed me on the floor. And I got winded straight away, so there's a nice picture of me in, like, the fetal position as well.
I did laugh when I saw that picture.
Yeah, well, that is me.
Funny.
I'm fully winded, mate. I couldn't breathe. But then I get up and then I'm readjusting my helmet, and one of the army guys comes over and they go, oh, are you okay, mate? I'm like, yeah. And he went, well, stop being a fucking pussy and get back in there. I was like, all right, shall I bend over now? And but honestly, mate, they just beat you. They do everything other than punch you. So there's loads of good pictures on there, and the guys are either ex-army guys or they're ex-rugby players or something. I went up against this. There's a nice picture of me going up against one of the biggest guys on my own, whilst everyone else around me is watching. And it didn't end well for me, Nate. I'll be honest. One of the best things that I did was they told us that you weren't allowed to charge them with the shields because it's dangerous. But in the heat of the moment, I did it by accident. So I charged this one guy, and the idea is if you got the zombies on the floor, they would be dead. That's how you'd kill them. So I charged this one guy and like knocked him down. And then there was me, I was loving it. He was not a happy man. So he got up, literally picked me up, slammed me against like a van, and then like basically sat on me and with the shield, punched the shield into my face. I'm not even joking. Like, I couldn't believe how aggressive it was. Russ got thrown so hard across the gravel that his helmet came off, and then he got smashed into a van as well. But it's so much fun. But Jesus, were you knackered after it? Honestly, it was about 20 minutes long. I literally couldn't breathe when I got back onto the van. I was that knackered.
Really?
So much fun. But yeah, you literally get battered by them. And then the second activity, that's a little bit easier because you've got paintball guns and stuff, but you have to like clear the room as normal. So again, that was more military. So you didn't really have any action in that one like a violence one, because it would, as long as you did it properly, you would be able to shoot them and stuff, which was really cool. But yeah, absolutely brilliant, mate. I definitely recommend it. They were talking to us afterwards, so they do like 5 different courses. That's apparently level 2. They go up to they go up to level 5, which is called Prison Riot. Okay, this is aimed at over 18s only and mainly at stag parties, and you get trained on being a prison warden, and the prison is broken, and there's a massive riot. And I've seen you get full body armour for that. And when I say full body armour, like you're padded up to the max. And we were asking the guy about it afterwards, and he was like, boys, he goes, we do everything in that one. He's like, you get beat up a big time. He said people will come out regularly with broken noses, black eyes and stuff.
Oh, he's telling me, Russ. He's telling me, let's do it.
Yeah. The prison wardens have never won. He said the prisoners have always won that game every time they've done it. And obviously the prisoners are played by the actors. But yeah, I think you get beat up big time in that one. So I've asked to do that and Mrs. Pom won't let me.
Well, look at your face, Russ. You don't have much left. So you've got to look after what you got.
But I was impressed. I didn't back down. Like I said, there's a really good photo of like the big guy and me just charging into him and stuff like that, with about 4 people just stood around watching me. But there am I. Yeah, like I said, it didn't end well for me. I'd be one of those courageous people in the war and stuff. I'd probably get one of those blue ribbons or whatever they are and stuff for courageousness. I wouldn't last very long, but I'm a trier. You got to love a trier, haven't you?
Yeah. No, look, I'll be honest, you have not sold me on this experience at all. being chokeslam into the gravel, up against a car. No.
It was great fun though, mate, and honestly I did enjoy it. And yeah, definitely check out our photos, because I think the photos, they don't do it justice of how physical it was, but you get a bit of a vibe of it and things, and me and Russ had great fun around it. You can tell I'm the one in the green Converse trainers and Russ has got the blue Adidas trainers on, so you can see from the photo, because they sent us like 600 photos, so I just pinpointed the shoes and then I was like, oh, that's me. Oh, I remember I was in the fetal position at one point.
Cracks me up.
That was me. Yeah, so brilliant day, mate. So that was the biggest thing that I did on the weekend. And then I also went to see one of the films. So remember, I think it was our end of year one, or maybe the 14, where we did a review of trailers, Nate.
Yes, I remember that.
And one of the films that we came up with was the classic Belko Experiment.
A movie that I had not heard of, and you enlightened me, and it looked freaky and good, and did it live up to expectations? That's the question that I want to know.
Yeah, well, I've been waiting and waiting for the release date. I didn't know whether they were going to release it in the UK, because it seemed like, I think it got released in America in March, it was scheduled for, and obviously it's now end of April, beginning of May time, and it still hadn't been released. So I literally I said to Mrs. Pom, should we go cinema? She was like, yeah, have a little look what we've got. And had a little look, and it was on there, the Belko Experiment, so I was very excited. So we went to see it, and I loved it, Nate. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was very good. Yeah, so I'm going to give a bit of just a quick one, but a non-spoiler review, because I definitely recommend that you go and see it. So the premise, if you haven't seen the trailer, is that basically these guys turn up to work they work at a place called the Belko Association or something, and it's just an office block. They turn up to work, and then the man comes over the tannoy and says, right, you're now involved in a real life experiment. If you do not kill 6 people within the next hour, 30 of you will die. And so it's about that. And then they prove their worth, because all these employees have got chips built into their head to track them, and they've sold it as it's for their protection, but obviously it's not. And they all they do is they just explode these chips, and it blows their heads off.
Nice. Yep.
So they do that a couple of times just to prove its worth. And then the main part of the film is that they need to kill 30 people within 2 hours, I think it is, or 60 of them will die. And there's 76 altogether. So obviously the majority of them would die. So I won't go into too much detail of the story because I don't want to spoil it, but it was absolutely brilliant. It is so gruesome.
Yeah.
Like, proper. Yeah. You get some good deaths, and you see like people's heads explode. So usually on films, like someone's head will explode, but like the camera will go away and it'll be someone else, and you'll just see like blood splatter or something.
Yeah, not in this one.
Yeah, not in this one. Not at all. Some proper gruesome deaths in there. I think the storyline is very good. The acting's very good. So there's some big actors in there. So I loved it. Mrs. Pom came out. Now, she wasn't sure if she loved it. Now, the reason she didn't know whether she loved it was because she started to think that it was real, and she started to check her own head to see if she had a chip inside her head.
Had Mrs. Pom been drinking, taking some sort of illicit drugs?
No, Mrs. Pom had literally just got up on that day and just been her normal self. So I just kept, on the way home, I just kept saying, right, you're doing my head in now. Can you tell me, did you like the film or not? Like, forget about this crazy story of you thinking people have put chips in your head. What did you think of the actual film? Well, I don't know, because I don't know whether it was real. I'm like, are you mental? I was like, just tell me if you thought it was good. Well, I think I thought it was good, but I don't know. So Mrs. Pom has got a mixed opinion because she doesn't know if she liked it because she's still worried that it might be real.
Rightio. She does realise that everyone was an actor that was in it.
Well, she does.
Does she think it's a documentary?
Her point is that films like this, and she referenced Saw as well, she was like, how are these directors and writers coming up with these stories? Like, that's in their actual head. So if they can come up with it, maybe it's going to give people the idea to actually go and do it.
Yeah, possibly. But it hasn't been done yet, so...
Well, she's worried that she's going to be the first inductee to the Bell... I just said, well, don't work for a company called the Belco Association or something. It's quite simple.
And if you go for a job interview and they said, we're going to stick something in the back of your head, maybe say no and walk out. That would be my...
That was one of the other points I did make as well, Nate. Very great point, well made there. Yeah, just don't put a tracker in your head. Quite simple.
If anybody want... No, I was going to say something that could have been taken dirty, so I won't say it at all, because...
But yeah, so I really loved the Belko Experiment. Very good story, a lot of gore. So if you've got a weak stomach or don't like that sort of stuff, I wouldn't go and see it. But if you like something that's very different to anything you've seen before and stuff, good storyline, good little twists and stuff like that. Not just at the end, like throughout the whole film. Very good storyline, and I found it interesting because it's kind of, they've looked at how humans would actually react in that situation. So you've got various different actors or characters, where some would back down, some would go hiding, some would go hunting, and all that sort of stuff. So it's very cleverly done, Nate. So I definitely recommend it, mate.
And what would you be? A hider, a hunter?
Well, I would have been a hider before, but after my training on Zombie Day, I'm technically classed as one of England's weapons of mass destruction. Basically, I think I'm if I go to America, I think I'm actually illegal in 14 states.
You're an idiot.
So I would, I don't know. It's a tough one, if you were in that situation, because they tried to get out and they couldn't. There's no physical way of getting out. So you either have to make that decision of, do you take someone's life? But then also you have to weigh up the fact of actually you ain't. So this doesn't spoil anything. This is just me thinking. My instant reaction would be, they aren't going to let me leave. So even if I'm one of the remaining 16, they're not going to let me just walk out there. Yeah. Like I said, that doesn't spoil the film whatsoever. That would be my thought process of actually, well, I'm going to die anyway, because there's no way they would just go, all right, thanks for that experiment, see you later. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
What would you do, Nate?
I'm a hider. I don't like confrontation at the best of time, but I'm quite a big person, so hiding might be an issue. I would imagine the only way that, from what you've told me, the only way to make that movie slightly better would be to have the whole cast of High School Musical as the people in the experiment.
Well, maybe actually it should have been some of our top 5 annoying characters from later on should have been in that experiment. Definitely,
yeah. I can understand that.
But I would give it. I'd give it quite high. I'm going to give it a 4. Yeah, I wouldn't go higher than a 4 because it's not. It wouldn't. I've not seen Guardians of the Galaxy yet, but I'm assuming that's going to be a 4, 4.5. Or like a Logan, we gave a 4.52 and stuff like that. I thought it is a very good, and I would 100% recommend it. So there you go. That's an official POM recommendation. So it's still out in cinemas in the UK for another couple of weeks and stuff. So check out Belko Experiment. If not, wait for the DVD. Nate, I'm not sure if it's out in Australia, so you might have to catch it online or something like that, or when it comes out on DVD.
DVD release, I think, because I haven't heard anything about it. So, but just quietly, Russell, are you sure you've got a builder in your apartment doing tiling and not building you an underground lair so you can kidnap people and hide them?
Well, Mrs. Pom gave me the idea of actually you could do this in real life, so I've got thinking, I'll start my own experiment. I'm going to call it the Pom experiment, and then I'll update you each week on what they've done.
Good idea.
But yeah, so I've had a very busy weekend really. So action packed. So I did zombie experience in the day, then boxing on the night, and then night out, and then on Sunday, what did we do Sunday? Oh yeah, Mrs. Pom gave me 4 options on Sunday. Right, this is our day together, okay? Our day together. We always set aside one day. She texts me on the morning with 4 options, all involving crockery.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Option number 1 was to drive an hour and 45 minutes from my house to go to this crockery factory to look at crockery and then come back. Option number 2 was to go to Merryhill Shopping Centre to look at crockery. Option number 3 was to go over to somewhere else and look at crockery. Or option number 4 was to do something else, but then also look at crockery.
For her house or your house?
For her house. Guess how much crockery we bought on Sunday, Nate?
None.
Yes, we bought 0 crockery.
Yes,
that's correct.
That's how it works, Russell. That's how it works. You like to go...
I did put my foot down and say we are not driving an hour and 45 minutes away from my house to go to one factory for crockery. So we did 2 of the other options, and we still bought no crockery.
Yeah, I understand that. It's like every female wants to go into 5 different shops just to pick out the same pair of shoes that she saw in shop 1. It just makes no sense.
Yeah. And we had a conversation around it as well, Nate. So this is even better. So she'd found some that she liked, but she didn't love, so I knew she wasn't going to buy them. And then I was like, how many are you going to buy? And she goes, oh, I'm going to buy 8 of everything. I said, sorry? I said, are you hiding a family in your house? I was like, why are you buying 8 of everything? She goes, oh, well, if you come round, and then Mum and Dad come round, and then John and Jen come round, and then so-and-so come round. I said, when does that ever happen? When do you ever have 8 people over for... Well, I might have it once. I was like, Mrs. Palm, if that one occasion you have 8 people round, I'm pretty comfortable if you'd give me your old cutlery and your old crockery that doesn't match. I'm comfortable with that. So, yeah, in her head, she wants to buy 8 sets of everything.
I'm thinking Octomum. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, she's obviously hiding something, because I don't know why she needs 8 bowls on a day-to-day basis.
You can never have too many bowls, Russell. You should know that by now.
Well, true. So, yeah, so I had a very exciting weekend until the crockery incident. But then we made up for it by going to watch the Belko experiment, so I enjoyed that.
That's good. Talking about Mrs. Pom, last week's episode has done, or the week before, whatever, has done extremely well, the Mrs. Pom episode. Our number 1 listened to show so far in a week. But I'm going to put it out there because my wife has started listening to this podcast now.
Nice.
So I'm going to put it out there that I want my wife to come on the show.
No. Yes, definitely. Well, here's a plea from the Pom. So, Mrs. Aussie, you heard I had a hard time, right? I had a hard time on that show. I legitimately didn't know any of the questions until we started recording. So I had a hard time. So come on, Mrs. Aussie, come at us and let me and you have some fun with your husband. As an official plea, come on the show and let's get our own back on him.
She's so nervous now about it, because I've been trying to get her on for a little while, because of how well you and Mrs. Pom went the other way. And she goes... But we're not like that. I said, nobody's like that.
What do you mean by nobody's like that, Nate? Come on. That's hard hitting, that. What does that mean?
You two have quite the repertoire with each other. Like, you bounce off each other like you're on... Like, it was hilarious. It's the most fun I've had editing a podcast was when you two were on. You bag each other out so well, and it was very entertaining. And I'm quite sure when we get Mrs. Aussie on, her answer would be yes, no.
We'll see. Well, look, this is an official plea. So not only do we tweet Wesley Snipes, I'm going to tweet Mrs. Aussie until she comes on the show.
She's got a Twitter too. Mrs.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mrs.
Aussie.
Mrs. Apples it is, so...
Yeah, so I'm going to get it. Yeah, don't worry, I already follow her. So yeah, we need Mrs. Aussie to come on the show because, yeah, like we said, that was our most downloaded episode of all time in our release week. So we were really excited about that we broke our record, and we're hunting down, I think we'll probably have done it, 3,000 downloads by the end of this week, you reckon?
Yeah, we'll go bloody close, which is a pretty good effort considering.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that, since we've only been doing it for like a few months and stuff. So yeah, Mrs. Aussie, come on the show, and we'll make you mainstream like we've made Afghani Dave and Mrs. Pom. They'll probably, I can see it one day, Nate. There's going to be another podcast which has got Afghani Dave, Mrs. Pom, and Mrs. Aussie on it. They're running it.
I can say, especially, I think Mrs. Pom got a taste for it, didn't she?
She did. Well, she did start talking about doing her own show, but then I think she got put off by the amount of editing and then the promoting and stuff like that, and also the fact of it would be pure nonsense for a full hour or whatever. Like, she's good to come on for like a 10-minute segment, but yeah, bless her. Good old Mrs. Pom.
A 10-minute segment that went for 45 minutes, and it was...
Yeah, well, we'll have it back on again soon as well, but not before Mrs. Aussie comes on. So if you want to hear Mrs. Pom again,
everybody has to start tweeting Mrs. Aussie.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll get them both on and stuff, and then I'm sure one day we'll do a show with both of them hosting. That's what Mrs. Pom wants to do as well. So once Mrs. Aussie's been on, Mrs. Pom wants to host a show with Mrs. Aussie, and me and you are the guests for the episode.
That will be interesting.
Oh dear, good. Right, well, anything else happened this week, Nate?
No, like I said, you had a very entertaining week, and I went to work, got sick, and didn't move house. So, yeah, don't want to bring that up again. Thanks, Russell.
Well, I had a very good week. So yeah, so check out our pictures on Facebook of the zombie experience, and I would definitely again recommend that. Me and Russ had a whale of a time and loved it. And then please go and watch the Belko Experiment as well. Official recommendation from the Aussie and the Pom Show.
Half the show, because I have not seen it. But
oh, cheers! There you go. That's trust between the hosts, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Oh, piss off!
Thanks, mate.
I put Blade 2 in my top 5 Marvel films. I've been hearing about it ever since.
Oh, do you know what we missed? We missed something yesterday. So yesterday was the 2nd of May, so it's the 3rd of May today. Do you know what we missed yesterday? A special birthday.
No.
The Rock.
Oh, yes.
It was his birthday yesterday,
Ah.
and we missed it. Yeah, we should have put a post up, but yeah, I know Dwayne Johnson regularly listens to our show whilst in the gym. Like, we're really good for gym. So if you really want to work and get like a sweat on and get motivated, whack on the Aussie and the Pom Show whilst lifting weights. I've heard it's got a good beat to it.
That's what I do.
I mean, yeah, look at both of us. We're so muscular, Nate.
Oh, yes, we are. Between us, we've probably got a couple of muscles.
And mine got choke slammed out of me by a zombie on the weekend. So, anyway, happy birthday to The Rock for yesterday.
Happy birthday, Rock. Been a lot of birthdays lately.
Yeah, there's been a lot of birthdays. Good. Right. Well, shall we crack on with? We've got no entertainment news this week, so Dave, that's the other thing Dave does for us. He just drops it on us with like 2 hours to go and go, yeah, I can't do it. And we're like, oh shit, what should we do now? Luckily, so if I hadn't done Zombie Experience and Belko Experiment, I don't know what we would have done this week.
We would have talked about me getting sick. I would have just elaborated a bit more on what's happened. Hang on, don't worry. I've got the internet. Entertainment news coming up right now.
Okay, what are you going to hit me with?
Nah.
Nope.
Nothing.
There's nothing. Well, to be fair, Nate, that's pretty much as good as Dave would have given us anyway. So I'll give you 5 stars.
Thank you. That's Mr. 13% for you right
there. Right. Well, if we've got nothing to chat about, shall we let the Thunderbirds take it away?
Oh, I think we should.
Thunderbirds, take it away.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to our latest top 5. So, as Nate told you earlier in the show, this week we've done for our top 5 most annoying characters of all time. Now, I kept mine movie related. Did you as well, Nate?
Oh yeah, if I went for TV, I would have had a list of thousand people long. So yeah, mine are just movies.
Good, yeah, definitely mine. There was no kind of synopsis for this, no instructions. It was kind of whoever you thought was annoying. And like I said at the start of the show, if we haven't got the same number 1, maybe Afghani Dave, Mrs. Pom and Mrs. Ozzy will need to do the show next week. But I am looking forward to this one because there's some very annoying ones. I don't think I've got anyone controversial, but it'll be interesting to see what you've got as well, Nate. So, look, let's kick off. Do you want to go first or second?
Oh, look, I'll kick off. I don't mind. I'm up for it.
Go on then. Hit me with your number 5, please.
I have gone for the kids in Jurassic Park.
Both of them?
Both of them. They're both equally as annoying. And both only clearly there for plot points. Like, one knows how to use a computer and one's a dinosaur freak that gets in trouble. That's the only point.
Yeah.
And they're annoying. Just shut the fuck up.
What? So if you were Dr. Alan Grant, what would you have done in that situation?
I just wouldn't have gone on the tour. I just said, all right, you go on this one, I'll catch the next one.
So Jurassic Park wouldn't have even happened if you were Dr. Alan Grant.
Well, yeah, true, but it doesn't matter. Like, everyone loves Jurassic Park. Some people might have it as their favourite movie ever, Mrs. Pom.
Yeah, Mrs. Pom.
But those characters are annoying. Like, you're getting attacked by dinosaurs and you start eating jelly or jello or whatever you call it over there.
Oh, do you know what? I've just pictured her face where they're eating the jello and they've got that cheesy grin, haven't they? Like, and then the dinosaur goes behind them and her face just drops, but he's still there with this cheesy grin on. I'm like, you've nearly died and you're trying to shove jello down your face or cake or whatever it is they're eating.
Yeah, like, seriously, just get a grip, move on, hide, and stay still until someone rescues you. And it's so typical. Like, oh, I know this system. This is meant to be a computer system that is running one of the most technologically advanced parks in the world. It's like she's come on. It's the equivalent of her knowing Facebook. That's what's happened.
And she's about, like, 14 or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like 14, 15, something like that. That does make me laugh, actually. Yeah, she just jumps on. Oh, I know this. How do you know that system? How do you know that system?
And
I just don't get it.
All she does is grab the mouse and clicks on random files. And then, oh, here it is.
The most in-depth hacking of all time. Just use a mouse and click on files.
Yeah.
But what makes me laugh is when Samuel L. Jackson was trying to, like, hack into the system to begin with, he couldn't, could he? And, like, the big guy put all the virus and stuff like on it and stuff like. Where she's just saying, oh yeah, I know this system. Click, fixed it. Job done. Brushed off her shoulders and walked off.
And they even brought him back for Jurassic Park 2. Just briefly.
Yeah, I know.
You just wish that they were taken to the island, thrown off as bait.
And left.
Yeah, and left. But anyway, so that's my number 5, the kids from Jurassic Park.
Okay. I haven't got too much to say about my number 5, mainly because I've only seen the film once because it was that bad. I've gone for Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin.
See, I don't even class that as a movie.
So yeah, I've gone for Arnold Schwarzenegger's appalling Mr. Freeze. Just so many, like, the whole film was just dreadful, wasn't it? And George Clooney doesn't even class it as a film either, does he?
No, not really.
Yeah. And so many cheesy lines. I think the worst one, I'm only going to say the worst one, it's just when he says, "You're not sending me to the cooler." And he's just, oh God. But yeah, he looks terrible in it as well. I think he looks awful. He sounds awful. It was when Arnold Schwarzenegger was pretty popular back in the day, wasn't he? Obviously, riding off Terminator success, and he was like the biggest action star of all time. But then he did some right stinkers. So sort of like Batman and Robin, and just the cheesy films and stuff that he did, like Twins. Why did he go from doing like Predator and all that sort of stuff to like things like Twins and Junior. When he had a baby?
It was crazy. But I class Mr. Freeze up there with the Riddler in Batman Forever by Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very annoying. Yeah, true. Yeah.
And
he was close to being on the list.
it was very close to being on my list as well. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a terrible movie. Like when he freezes the ground and Batman and Robin at the start click their heels and bloody ice skates come out. You knew right from that very second that this movie is going to bloody stink to high heaven.
Oh dear. So yeah, Mr. Freeze is a big problem in that one. So yeah, he comes in at a solid number 5.
And Alicia Silverstone is the only Batgirl that we've ever had. We need this Batgirl movie to come out pronto.
Pronto, definitely. And definitely don't have Mr. Freeze in it. Do not put Mr. Freeze in it.
If they did Mr. Freeze properly, like they do in the comics, it would work great. But it's a travesty of justice what they did to that movie. I think it goes down as possibly the worst movie ever made. Although I know another one. Anyway,
Go on then. What's your number 4, mate?
my number 4 is Skids and Mudflap from Transformers 2.
I saw that on a list, but I love the Transformers franchise, so it can't go on there. You're incorrect, Nate. You're incorrect with your list.
I'm not incorrect. Not only is it the portrayal of two black Transformers, however that works, and the worst. Just that movie. Was that Revenge of the Fallen? Or
Yeah, it is, yeah.
yeah, that was. Remember, we got so pumped because I liked the first Transformers movie, and I kind of liked the third one. The second one was halfway through the writer's strike, so it went to shit pretty quick. But yeah, not a great movie. Those two characters are woeful, and I hope we never see them again in any Transformers movies. I haven't watched any past 3. Are they back or are they gone?
No, they've not been in them since.
Yeah.
I think Michael Bay did.
Just try to be casually racist.
Yeah, I think they ruined them, didn't they?
Yes.
And they didn't get they did get bagged off quite a bit by everyone, didn't they? I'm just having a little look at them now. Revenge of the Fallen, yeah. No, they won't be in anything else.
That's good then. So at least they know they were shit and they didn't move on. Anyway, so that was my number 4.
Yeah, which is incorrect though, because they're very good. Because I love all of the Transformers films.
If you love all the Transformers films, we should probably stop this podcast because this is the man that had Transformers in his what was it?
Top 5 franchises and didn't
not
have Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can
my
tell.
number 4?
I know now. Mrs. Pom told you not to put Star Wars in there, and you listened.
If there's one thing I do, it is I do not listen to Mrs. Pom.
Pussy whipped.
Yeah, can you see the thumbprint on top of my head?
I like this list so far because I doubt whether we're going to have much the same. So,
well,
I am looking
my
forward
number
to
4.
Number 4.
My number 4 is just Tim from Jurassic Park. So I didn't want to say anything when you were doing yours, so I've gone for just Tim. So he's the most annoying person of all time. A couple of times. Shall I tell you why he's so pathetic?
Yes, please.
Okay? When he's just randomly sick when the Jeep falls down the tree. That's annoying. He's the one that brings the T-Rex over when he's flashing the lights and stuff like that.
Yes, when your sister says,
like
turn it off. Turn it off.
Yeah, and he's carrying. Yeah, how hard is it to find the off button? And the most annoying piece is when he got electrocuted,
and didn't die.
They were, but how slow was he coming down that fence?
Yeah.
Like, are you being ridiculous? They're saying jump, 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 and he's like, oh no, enjoying the view up here. Oh, it's really nice. Probably telling some more pathetic dinosaur jokes. Again, that was just annoying as well, wasn't it? He just really annoyed me. It's just how pathetic he was. And then even at the end, so we bagged off the girl for doing that ridiculous hacking. What did he do? Whilst Alan Grant and stuff like that and Ellie are trying to close the door and stop the raptors from coming in, and there's a gun on the floor, right, and they're just out of their reach, and the girl's doing the hack. What is he doing? Absolutely nothing. He's just standing there. Clearly, he could have gone and got the gun and give that to him, or he could have just done something. But yeah, so the most pathetic character of all time, Tim from Jurassic Park.
I like it how I just said I like this list because we're going to have none in common apart from a cut, and then the very next one is Tim from Jurassic Park.
So yeah, I don't think we need to discuss him anymore. But yeah, he's definitely just I hate him. Annoying.
Still a very good movie though. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, love the film, just not the kids.
All right, so we're moving on to my number 3, and that is, I believe you pronounce it Mutt Williams.
Who's that?
Yeah, do you not know who that is? That is Indiana Jones' son in the
Oh yeah, I do.
Kingdom of the
To be fair,
Crystal.
Yeah, definitely awful. Yeah, I've only seen the film once though, so why does he annoy you?
Just everything he does annoys me. Like he's so it's just. I've like you have only seen it once, but I only needed to watch it once to know that it was a shit film, and he was possibly the worst thing in a bad film. Just the way he acts and carries on, he's got that tries to be rebellious and looks after his mum. Like, come on, just piss off. Just the whole character of Indiana Jones having a son that he didn't know about just did not work for me, and
yeah. They really should have made that film, did they? Because I can never pronounce his name. Is it Shia LaBeouf or LaBeouf or something like that?
I always go Shia LaBeouf, but yeah, who knows? Who cares?
Obviously, I'm a big fan because he's in Transformers, and also I like people that are mental, don't I? So I'm a big fan of Tom Cruise because he's mental. This guy is definitely mental, so I like a bit of mental. But yeah, I felt a bit sorry for him because the story is awful, isn't it, and stuff, and just his character is dreadful.
Yeah, the whole movie, like, the first 3 are based around religion, and then they bring in aliens. If you haven't seen it, don't, so I don't care if I spoil it. They bring in aliens for the 4th one, and it's like, doesn't that just go against everything you've just done previously with religion? Because, like, doesn't the Bible say, like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not very religious, but if there are aliens, the Bible has to be wrong. Is that right? Pretty much, because aren't we meant to be the only...
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so work that one out. So there are aliens, therefore all the shit that you did about the Bible was wrong, so that makes no sense. But, yeah. And Mutt, you're a dick. So let's move on to your number 3 then, Russell.
Ooh, I think that's the best way to end. In at my number 3, it's somebody we've talked about previously. I've gone for Bella Swan from the Twilight series.
Oh, see, I didn't. I was thinking about putting it in there, but I just don't even rate those movies even enough to find her annoying.
Well, she has to go in there. So she is the Devil Woman. We've talked about it many times on this show. She is the Devil Woman. Just so annoying. Like, do you want to be with a vampire or do you want to be with a werewolf? Stop dick teasing. Do you know what I mean? You're not even fit. You are not even fit, Bella. You should not be able to dick tease.
No, and
that's my Bella Swan rant.
And what rational person would choose between a vampire and a werewolf? Wouldn't you just get the fuck out of that town?
And just go, I'm just going to go for a normal person. Yes. Just going to go for a normal person. But yeah, she's a really annoying character, played by a very annoying actress. I have no respect for her whatsoever. But yeah, the character's just annoying. The Twilight films are just dreadful anyway. Oh, just absolute horrific. And yeah, Bella Swan, she doesn't come... Because people kind of like Edward, because it's on Team Edward, or is it Team Jacob? I'll tell you now, Nate, there ain't no fucking Team Bella.
No, no one.
No one wants Bella to win, ever. No one wants her to win. So, yeah, very annoying character.
It takes me back to when my wife asked that question for us, like, what character would you have from one movie going to another movie? And my mate Sam sent the picture of Blade in the Twilight series. I said, yes, that is perfect. Yeah, that would be the perfect example.
Yeah, so yeah, she's a strong case at my number 3.
No, nice. Very good. And like I said, very annoying, but I don't even rate those movies. I don't call them movies. I call them a travesty of justice. Do not. So I couldn't even put her in my top 5 because she's not even worth it.
Okay, well, what do you have for me at number 2?
All right, so my number 2, which I would say is everybody's most annoying character, is Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars. So that is my number 2.
Well, I'm going to stop you right there, Nate, because in my number 2 is also Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars.
See, now that's what I thought you had at number one. So now I'm very confused of what your number one is, and I know you have no idea what my number one is. So this should be very interesting.
Well, yeah, I was going to be controversial and not put him in, but I think I've bowed down to peer pressure because he definitely needs to be in because he's very annoying. And yeah, I think he's starting to get a bit of a cult following, isn't he? Because of that's how shit he is.
Yeah, but he should, like, everything about... I remember coming out of that movie when I first saw it, and I thought, it wasn't my most favourite character, but I thought, I'll give it away, because I liked the movie when it first came out. It's not until you realise a couple of years later and you've watched it 17 times, no, it's not a very good movie. It does go downhill pretty quick. But then the more you watch it, the more annoying he gets, and I like it how throughout the first three prequels, they slowly wedge him out of it. Like by the third one, he's only in the background in one scene, and just walks off, and that's all he does.
Yeah,
and that's all he should have been. But yeah, so very annoying. Yeah. I think not many people would hold it against us for having him in our top 5.
No, I think that was the problem with the prequels, wasn't it? It's the fact that they tried to get a new audience and they tried to go to children.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to face it towards children more, didn't they? And so obviously he's like a kind of perfect character for kids and stuff, and they thought the memorabilia would be massive for him, and everyone would be like, Jar Jar Binks is kind of like a C-3PO-y sort of character.
Yeah, I first thought that they were trying to do like a Chewbacca type character, like a sidekick, but he was just so stupid and so bumbly, and it's one of those characters that sort of accidentally falls in and does something good, but you don't really... So the whole thing of the Empire rising was because Jar Jar Binks voted for it to happen in the second... Yeah. And it's like, give me a break. Like,
yeah, he is annoying. They tried to push him too much. He was in the first one quite a lot, wasn't he, and stuff like that. And the most annoying part for me was the pod race, where he puts his bloody fucking head in it, and then his tongue goes out, and he can't speak. He
goes, I can't feel my tongue. I can't feel my tongue.
I hate that part.
See, I'm good at impressions too.
You can do next week's intro.
It's Jar Jar Binks with a
numb
Jar
Jar Binks with his no tongue.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, if you do a search for most annoying movie character of all time, he comes up on number 1 on pretty much most of the lists.
Yeah, and if he's not in the list, in the comments, it's like, why the fuck haven't you put Jar Jar Binks?
Yeah. So yeah, I think I completely agree. A very solid choice at our number 2, mate.
All right, I'm going to let you say your number 1 first because I'm very intrigued and I want to save mine for last.
Okay, that's fine. Mixing up. So I'm disappointed that you've not got him in your list. Then so it's a male.
As soon as I hear it, I'll probably go, yeah, I should have had it. But
yeah, so it's a male. It's something that we talk about not all the time, but on a regular basis of our hate for it. Are you starting to get anything? New films just come out.
No, I'm drawing a blank.
No. I've gone for Dominic Toretto from the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And Nate, how you don't have him in your top 5 at all has really disappointed me. I have to say, I'm more disappointed with you than I am with Dom Toretto.
Yeah, he should have been in my top 5. Oh.
I can't stand him. I nearly went with my number 1. I nearly just went with every Vin Diesel character of all time. But I thought, no, I'll play the game. And I won't let my hate for Vin Diesel, take over the show. But no, Dominic Toretto's definitely the most annoying one. Like, I just don't get it and stuff. And he's just like, oh, it's family. It's family. That's all he ever fucking says. Oh, it's for the family. It's family. It's family. And he's got no... Like, the problem is a lot with him as an actor, because he's got no range, which we've talked about before. So he might be really happy, but he still talks about the same tone. He might be really sad, it's still the same tone. He might be angry, it's still the same tone. But it's just the character's just annoying as well. Like how Dominic Toretto has now become like the most elusive man in the world, and he's also like the most powerful weapon, and America just turned to Dominic Toretto when they want him to sort stuff out. It's like, are you being serious?
He started out as a mechanic.
Yeah.
That used to steal some stuff. And now he's jumping out of planes with bloody cars and like fighting submarines and
I just don't get him. Like when we recast Fast and the Furious, we talked about he should be like this criminal mastermind, like a clever one, and but then he plays like he's this. Oh, I'm this brute, I'm this badass, and it's like two different characters merged into one. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I completely agree, and the fact that these movies are making $1 billion each time they come out, we're not going to hear they're going to keep on coming out and out. I was hopeful. Like, I don't like the fact that Paul Walker died, but I was hopeful that the last movie made over $1 billion because of his death, and I thought people wanted to go to it and see his last movie, and I thought, that's all right, I don't mind it. I didn't think this new one would make over $1 billion, and it already has, and it's devastating.
Yeah. Yeah,
and we're just gonna put up with more ads, more stories about him. The Rock's in it, and it still doesn't make it better.
I think it's so big because you have got some stars in it and stuff like that, and people just like if you enjoy those films, it's one of those films. It's because you want to go and you just want to switch off from the world for like a couple of hours, isn't it? You don't want to think about anything. You literally just want to watch some random action, some like completely over the top stunts and stuff, and just immerse yourself in just rubbish for a couple of hours and stuff. And I get that because there's some like I said, I enjoy the Transformers stuff because that's kind of one of the films of you completely immerse yourself in it. You can forget the rubbish that's going on maybe in the world and stuff, and for 2 hours you can just watch robots fucking clean shop and some really shit acting.
Well, that's why I watch Marvel movies.
Yeah, there you go. Whoa, low blow.
They're not big think pieces, are they? Marvel movies. They don't have any pressing questions, except I don't like you, you don't me, let's fight. That's all that Marvel movies are, and they're good fun for 2 hours, but they're not like a think piece like Fences with Denzel Washington, or Hidden Figures, or the Belko Experiment. At least that gives you something different. Like Marvel and Transformers and these Fast and Furious movies, they use the same, not storylines, but same beats in every movie, and people like them, so they just keep on remaking them, and good for you.
Exactly. Like, I've got nothing against anyone that likes Fast and the Furious and stuff, because like I said, and everyone you speak to that does go, oh yeah, I went and watched it, they just go, yeah, it's because I can switch off for 2 hours and just watch absolute nonsense and stuff, really.
Yeah.
So I've got no issue with it. It's just not my cup of tea, and the Dom character is just ridiculous, because like I said, he's kind of like two characters merged into one. It doesn't make sense in my eyes, and plus Vin Diesel is a pile of shit, and that's all I want to say about that.
All right, that's the bottom line.
And that's the bottom line because the Pom says so.
All right.
So I'm intrigued to your number one then.
Can you guess it?
No, give me some hints then, like I gave to yours.
We've talked about it before.
Okay.
I only know one person that likes the movie.
Okay.
I guess it's not just one person. I've gone for every character.
In High School Musical?
No, because I haven't seen that. Every character. Every character in the movie Big Trouble in Little China.
I'll tell you now, Tom is not going to be happy with this.
I don't care. That's the first thing that me and Jay Money have agreed on. Not only is it
I can't stop laughing.
Not only is it a shit movie, but there's not one character in that movie that is redeeming in any way whatsoever. They're so freaking annoying that none of... Oh my God, I don't want to keep on going. But that is my number one. The whole entire... Oh, no, not the whole entire cast, because I don't mind the actors. Every single character in Big Trouble in Little China. You get my number one spot.
Oh dear, that's really tickled me. That is, I don't even know what to say. Other than, Tom, I'm very sorry.
No, Tom understands.
Poor Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Poor Kurt Russell. He put his heart and soul into that.
Well, good for Kurt Russell. I like Kurt Russell as an actor and as a person. Well, I don't really know him as a person, so I'm just assuming. But that movie, please. His character in that movie, he's just... Oh, God, he's so cheesy and full of himself. He's a truck driver and all of a sudden he's fighting people. He's like bloody Dom from Fast and the Furious. Like he starts off as a truck driver and ends up bloody saving the world from Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. So...
I really need to watch. I'm going to watch this film. I'm going to watch this film myself before next week's show.
No, because I know exactly what you'll say. You'll get on here and you'll say, "I don't know what you're talking about, Nate. It was good." Just to wind me up. So I am banning you from. We're not talking about this. I am. What is it? Room 102 in it.
Yeah. So we talked about doing a new feature on the show. So not every single week, but we got a new segment of actually if something is annoyed us that much, we get to put it to the rest of the people on the show and to put it into room 102. So anyone that doesn't know that, there's a program in England called Room 101, and basically what that is, you argue your case of why something that annoys you should go into that one, and then the host of that show then decides if it goes in. We're calling ours Room 102 because it's one better than 101, obviously. So Nate may in the future talk about, and because then if we put something in room 102 and the whole show agrees that's me, Afghani Dave and Nate, then we are not allowed to talk about it ever again.
So we just need a majority, or do we need all three of us to vote?
You need all three, because it's like the seal of approval thing, so yeah, you need all three. So if you want to bring that up to the table for your first room 102 segment, maybe next week, then feel free.
Oh, it's coming.
But until then, I'm allowed to talk about how good Big Trouble in Little China is.
That way, it'll be the very first thing I talk about next episode.
So that means I do need to watch the film this week then, just in case you do bring it up.
No, you don't. You just need to listen to my passionate reasons why that I'm putting it in there, and we just never have to talk about it again.
Oh dear. Well, I have to say, Nate, I have enjoyed this top five. Like, we've flown through the last couple. I've enjoyed going back to a meaty segment on it this week. So it's been good. It's a good top five this week.
It's been good. A lot of conversation and a lot of... I can't believe I didn't put that in there. But yeah, no, it's been good.
Yes.
Dumb
good.
bastard.
Right. Before we tweet Wesley, let's do our social media plug. So you can find us on Twitter at Aussie_the_Palm. Also on our website, www.aussieandthepom.com. I've been a bit rubbish with reviews recently because of work, but I'm hoping to get some back up this week and stuff. But check us out on there, Nate. Anywhere else?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook. Just look up Aussie and the Pom. I've been saying it wrong, apparently. If you type in www.facebook.com/Aussie and the Pom, you won't find us because it's Aussie the Pom.
The Pom, yeah.
But anyway... So just look up Aussie and the Pom, you'll find us there. And you can also find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube, which is our not new endeavour. We've always been using it, but in the next couple of weeks I'll be pushing the content on YouTube a little bit more. Now that I have my own place and I can start recording videos there and doing my own reviews, because I can't write for shit, so I haven't been writing. And a lot of you people are probably thinking, well, you can't fucking talk either. But don't worry, I'll be doing... I'll be doing some video reviews of TV shows and movies as well. So have a look for us there.
Good, right. I'm just loading up Twitter now. What should we send him?
I think we just should keep it nice and polite, because obviously the aggro ones... He
didn't work.
No, and I was thinking, what if he turns his fans against us and just completely bombards Aussie?
True.
So that could happen. That's why you'd never have a go at Beaver on Twitter. Cause
yeah, the believers.
Yeah. Mrs. Pom would be the first one out there going, no, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah. So, right, what should we go with?
Something to do. What would you consider is your most annoying character that you've played?
Yeah.
Because it's not mean, it's just sort of...
We just did top 5 annoying characters. what would be yours out of who you have played? Okay.
And while Russell's talking, you can also find me on Twitter at apples_23.
I've just added you into the tweet as well. Thanks for that information. Can you find Afghani Dave anywhere?
I'm sure you can.
It's at Afghani_Dave. Do not tweet him though, saying, "Oh, we missed you on the show." That's not allowed.
No, definitely not.
Right, tweeted.
Maybe
Gone to Wesley.
Maybe tweet Afghani Dave saying you're so lucky to be on that show.
Well, we're hoping to have Afghani Dave back next week, aren't we?
We are, and we do enjoy having Afghani Dave on, even though we do give him a little bit of stick. But sometimes when you only bring 13%,
of course we do.
That's what you get.
Good, right? Well, awesome show today. We've kind of gone a bit old school, back to basics. So we just had a catch up, and then talked about what we've been doing for the week, and then we just went straight into top 5. So I hope you've enjoyed our show this week. So if you have, please share it on to one of your friends and stuff like that. Get more people involved in it.
And if you're wondering, Russell will be putting up pictures of his prison that he's built in his basement later today. So just look out on Twitter for that.
Yeah, I do apologise if you can hear any noise, background noise. It is building going on in my house. You know, I'm just having the 7th bedroom added on, you know, with all the success from the show, Nate.
all the money just rolling in.
Just dripping it in just dripping in it. Good. Well, Nate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Nate?
I've been the Aussie.
And I've been the Palm. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.